My brother stood up at Thanksgiving and declared my parents were giving him the family business I built with them for 15 years. So I burned it down and started my own. Now they're all bankrupt, begging. You know that feeling when your entire world just shatters right in front of you, and it's delivered with a polite, infuriating smile? That's exactly how I felt when my own parents, the people who were supposed to have my back, handed the company I built, piece by painstaking piece, to my useless brother. Can you believe it? I should have known something was deeply wrong the moment Dylan showed up to Thanksgiving dinner in a suit. A suit. My brother, the guy who practically had business casual is for corporate sellouts tattooed on his forehead, was standing there in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than I made in a week. Hair slicked back, arm in arm with a girlfriend who looked like she'd stepped straight out of a glossy magazine. Cameron. They were perfect, and it set off alarm bells I didn't even know I had. Mom met us at the door, her hug a desperate squeeze. "Oh, honey, I'm so glad you're here." Ashley, my girlfriend, handed Mom the homemade pumpkin pie we'd baked. Mom beamed. "You're too sweet. Come in, come in. Your father's already carving the turkey." The house smelled like every other Thanksgiving: turkey, stuffing, and that weird green bean casserole Mom insisted on making even though nobody ever touched it. Everything was familiar, but something felt off. Dylan was in the living room, a drink in his hand, talking to Dad. He broke away, all smiles, and gave me a hug that felt more like a performance than a greeting. "Good to see you, man." I mumbled. "You too. Nice suit." He brushed his lapel. "Oh, this just felt like dressing up. Special occasion and all." I just blinked. "It's Thanksgiving. We're eating turkey and watching football." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. That was my first clue. For 15 years, Hartley and Sons Construction was my entire life. I started at 19, swinging hammers, mixing concrete, learning to frame a wall so it wouldn't collapse if someone sneezed. My parents, Frank and Diane Hartley, started the company 20 years ago. A small residential operation back then, kitchen remodels, nothing fancy. But over the years, we grew. Under my management, we expanded into commercial work, strip malls, office buildings. I learned the trade from the ground up, moving from laborer to foreman to project manager. For the last 5 years, I'd basically been running the entire operation, growing our annual revenue from $2 million to $5 million. I'd built relationships, streamlined processes, hired the best crews. Hartley and Sons was my lifeblood. Dylan? He'd been gone for a decade, chasing dreams in Seattle, then Austin, then who knows where. Tech startups that inevitably failed. He'd come home for Christmas, full of buzzwords like disruption and scalability, while I was out there actually building things. Then, a year ago, he announced, "I want to learn the family business." Mom cried. Dad beamed. Both my sons working together. I was cautiously optimistic, stupidly hoping he'd finally grown up. They gave him a fancy title, Business Development Manager. Office job. He was supposed to find new clients, manage relationships. In 12 months, he brought in exactly 2 clients. 2 tiny jobs I could have landed in my sleep. But my parents adored having their golden boy home. I tried not to be bitter. Really, I did. Dinner started normally enough. Turkey, mashed potatoes, the untouched green bean casserole. Dad told his usual jokes. Mom fussed. Dylan's girlfriend, Jessica, I think, talked about her yoga studio. Ashley told a story about a difficult client. Everything felt normal. Then, Dad stood up, glass in hand, that serious look on his face. "Before we dig into dessert, your mother and I have an announcement." My heart pounded. This was it. After 15 years, they were finally going to make it official. Make me partner. Put my name on the paperwork. Cameron Hartley, co-owner. I'd earned it. Everyone knew I'd earned it. Dad cleared his throat. "We've been thinking about the future, about the company, about succession planning, and we've made a decision." He paused, that pregnant pause that makes your stomach drop. Dylan is going to take over as CEO of Hartley and Sons Construction. Silence. Crushing, deafening silence. I stared at Dad, at Mom, at Dylan, who was smiling this modest, humble smile that made my blood run cold. What? The word came out flat, hollow, like air escaping a punctured tire. Dylan will be CEO, Mom said, her voice unnaturally gentle. Effective January 1st. We wanted to give everyone time to adjust. I looked at Dylan. You've been here 1 year. I know it's sudden, he said, all smooth and diplomatic. But I think with my background in business strategy. Business strategy? I couldn't help it. A bitter, sharp laugh ripped out of me. You've worked at 3 failed startups and brought in 2 clients in 12 months. Cameron. Dad's voice was a warning growl. No, I want to understand. I shot back, my voice rising. I've been running this company for 5 years, building relationships, managing projects, growing revenue, and you're giving it to him? You're excellent at operations, Mom interjected, almost like a placating pat on the head. Nobody's disputing that. But Dylan understands the bigger picture. Modern business practices. Digital transformation. Digital transformation? I scoffed. We build buildings with wood and concrete. The industry is changing, Dylan said, like he was quoting a textbook. We need to adapt or die. We've tripled revenue in 5 years. I yelled. We're not dying. We're not growing strategically. Dylan continued, as if I hadn't spoken, as if he'd rehearsed this whole speech. We're taking whatever projects come our way instead of positioning ourselves in premium markets. Premium markets don't pay the bills when you have 0 clients in them. I countered, my voice tight with rage. Cameron, Dad's voice was sharp now. This is not a debate. Your mother and I own the company. This is our decision. Ashley's hand found mine under the table, squeezing hard. I looked at my parents, really looked at them. They stood together, a united front. This wasn't an announcement. It was a done deal. A decree. You're serious? I asked quietly, my voice barely a whisper. Yes, Dad said. And we need you to support Dylan in this transition. Show him the ropes. Introduce him to clients. You know the operations inside and out. He'll need your help. Something cold, heavy, settled in my chest. So, I'm still operations. Still doing the actual work. But he gets the title, the authority, the credit. You're a team, Mom chirped, trying to smooth things over. We've always been Hartley and Sons, Dylan added, plural. This doesn't change that. I stood up, my chair scraping harshly against the floor. Cameron, Ashley whispered softly. I need some air. Sit down, Dad commanded. We're not finished. Yeah, we are. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. Behind me, chaos erupted. Cameron, don't be dramatic. Mom cried. Dylan, come on, man. Let's talk about this. Dylan pleaded. Cameron Hartley, you get back here? Dad roared. I didn't turn around. I just walked out. Ashley caught up to me at my truck, grabbing my arm. Hey, wait. I was shaking, actually shaking, my whole body trembling with disbelief and fury. Did that just happen? Yeah, she said, her arms wrapping around me. That just happened. 15 years, I choked out, the words catching in my throat. I built that company. I made it what it is. I know, she murmured. And they just gave it to him. My phone buzzed. A text from Dylan. Don't be dramatic. This is good for everyone. We'll talk Monday. What a jerk. Another text, this time from Mom. Please come back inside. Let's discuss this like adults. I turned off my phone. Take me home, I said. We drove in silence. Ashley didn't try to fill it with empty reassurances. She just let me sit with the crushing weight of betrayal. At home, I couldn't sleep. The dinner replayed in my mind. The announcement, Dylan's smug face, modern business practices, digital transformation, buzzwords, empty, meaningless buzzwords, but my parents had bought it hook, line, and sinker. Around 3 a.m., I got up, made coffee, and opened my laptop. Client contracts, employee records, supplier agreements. Ashley found me at 6 a.m., surrounded by printouts. What are you doing? She asked softly. Counting, I replied, my voice raspy. Counting what? Everything I built. Everything that's mine, even if the paperwork says it's theirs.
She sat next to me.
Our top 10 clients? I brought in 8 of them, built those relationships from scratch. Our crew? 15 guys. I hired 12 of them personally. They're loyal to me, not the company name. Our suppliers? Every single one is someone I've worked with for years. They give us good rates because they trust me. What are you saying? She asked, her eyes wide. I leaned back, rubbing my eyes. I'm saying Dylan's getting a title, but I'm the one who built the actual business. The relationships, the reputation, the systems that make everything run. So, what are you going to do? I looked at the papers at the evidence of 15 years of my life. I don't know yet, but I'm not staying there to train Dylan how to run my company. It's their company. Not really, I said, a grim smile forming. Not anymore. They just don't know it yet. Ashley was quiet for a long moment. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
Depends.
What do you think? I'm thinking that you could leave. Start your own company. Take the clients and crew with you. A genuine smile finally touched my lips. Maybe. That's risky. So, is staying somewhere you're not valued? Fair point. My phone buzzed. I turned it back on. Notifications flooded in. Dylan, looking forward to working together. Mom, call me when you're ready to talk. Dad, don't do anything stupid. That last one made me laugh. Too late, I muttered. I'm already doing something stupid. Or smart. Depends on how you look at it. Monday morning, I arrived at the office early, before anyone else. Hartley and Sons operated out of a warehouse on the edge of town. Offices in front, equipment in back. Not fancy, but functional. I sat at my desk, the same desk I'd sat at for 10 years, and started making lists. Clients who would follow me, employees who would jump ship, suppliers who would work with me independently. By the time people started arriving, I had a plan. Not a complete plan, but a damn good outline. Maria, our office manager, knocked on my door. Hey, you okay? Heard about Thanksgiving. Word travels fast. Dylan called me Saturday, asked me to schedule a leadership transition meeting for this morning. Of course, he did. You going? I looked at her. Maria had worked with us for 8 years. Loyal, competent, underpaid because we couldn't afford more, though I'd been fighting to get her a raise. Maria, hypothetically, if I started my own company, would you come with me?
She didn't hesitate.
Yes. I'd pay you better, I assume. And treat you better, also assumed. Why so quick? She leaned against the doorframe. Because you're the reason I stayed this long. And because Dylan's an idiot who's going to run this place into the ground. Tell me how you really feel. I've been here 8 years. I've watched you build this company from the inside. You think I don't know who's actually running things? The Hartleys might see it differently. The Hartleys are about to learn a very expensive lesson. That a name on a building means nothing if you don't have the people who make it work. I grinned. That's good. I might steal that. Steal away. You earned it. At 9 a.m., I walked into the leadership transition meeting. Dylan sat at the head of the conference table, my parents on either side. 3 of our senior guys, Big Mike, the foreman, Jose, our lead electrician, and Tommy, our best carpenter, sat awkwardly at the other end. Cameron, Dylan stood up, all business. Glad you could make it. Have a seat. I stayed standing. What's this about? Just want to align everyone on the transition. Make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, so what's the page? He pulled out a folder, actual printed documents, very official. I've been doing some analysis looking at our portfolio, our positioning, and I think we need to pivot. Pivot to what? Luxury residential. High-end custom homes. That's where the margins are. Big Mike shifted uncomfortably. We do commercial, strip malls, small office buildings. Exactly, Dylan said dismissively. Low margin, high competition work. We're better than that. Our contracts are all commercial, I pointed out. For the next 18 months. We'll fulfill those, but no new commercial contracts. Starting January, we only pursue luxury residential. That's a completely different market, I countered. Different skills, different suppliers, different everything. Which is why this is a multi-year transition, he said, waving a hand. Multi-year. I scoffed. We can't pay bills with a multi-year plan. We'll bridge with existing contracts. And when those run out and we have zero new business because we spent 2 years trying to break into a market we have no presence in? Dylan smiled condescendingly. That's why you're operations and I'm strategy. The room went quiet.
Tommy looked at me.
Jose looked at me. Big Mike looked at me. They were waiting to see what I'd do. I looked at Dylan, at his expensive suit, his confident smile, his complete lack of understanding about how any of this actually worked. Then I looked at my parents. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. Mom looked uncomfortable. They'd made their choice.
So I made mine.
Okay, I said, my voice calm, almost detached. Good luck with that. Dylan blinked. Good luck? You're going to help implement. No, I'm not. I pulled an envelope from my jacket, setting it on the table. That's my resignation. Effective immediately. Dead silence. You can't resign, Dylan spluttered. Just did. We have contracts, projects in progress. You can't just. Actually, I can. 2 weeks' notice is a courtesy, not a requirement. Dad stood up, his face red. Cameron, sit down. Let's talk about this. Nothing to talk about. You gave Dylan the company. Let him run it. You're being childish. I'm being clear. You made a choice. I'm making mine. Mom's voice was shaking. You'd really leave after everything we've built together? After everything I built? You're right. That's exactly why I'm leaving. I turned to Big Mike, Jose, and Tommy. Gentlemen, pleasure working with you. If you ever want to work for a company that actually values you, give me a call. I wrote my personal number on the whiteboard. Then I walked out. Behind me, chaos erupted. Dylan yelling, Mom crying, Dad demanding I come back. I didn't turn around. I just walked to my truck, drove away from Hartley and Sons Construction, and started planning how to destroy it. I spent Monday afternoon at Ashley's apartment, laptop open, phone on silent, making calls. First, my lawyer. Cameron, what can I do for you? I need to set up an LLC.
Fast.
Construction, general contracting. A pause. You're leaving Hartley and Sons? Left this morning. Do they have a non-compete? Nope. I checked years ago when I was thinking about partnership. Dad said non-competes were for companies that don't trust their people. Well, that's about to bite him. That's the idea. I can have the LLC filed by Wednesday. What's the name? I'd been thinking about this. Couldn't use Hartley.
Didn't want to.
Bishop Construction. My middle name.
Clean.
Simple. Mine. Bishop Construction LLC. I like it. I'll send the paperwork. Second call. Big Mike. He answered on the first ring. I was waiting for you to call. That obvious? You wrote your number on the board in front of Dylan. Yeah, it was obvious. I'm starting my own company.
Same work we do now.
Better pay. Profit sharing for senior guys. You interested? When do we start? 2 weeks. I need to set things up first. I'm in. And Cameron, half the crew will follow you. They're just waiting for you to ask. Third call. Jose. Same conversation, same answer. Fourth call. Tommy. The carpenter who could frame a house blindfolded. About time, he said. Dylan's an idiot. Let me know when and where. By evening, I had commitments from 10 people, 2/3 of our crew. Ashley ordered pizza. We ate on her couch, my laptop balanced between us. You're really doing this, she said. I'm really doing this. You have enough saved? $180,000. Every penny I didn't spend over the last 5 years. That's not a lot for starting a construction company. It's enough for equipment, insurance, and 3 months operating costs. After that, we need to be cash flow positive or we're done. What about clients? I pulled up a list. Our top 15 clients. I have personal relationships with 11 of them. Built their projects, know their kids' names, go to their company picnics. Will they switch? Only one way to find out. First client meeting, Wednesday morning. Henderson Development Group. I'd built 3 strip malls for them. Always on time, under budget. Mark Henderson met me in his corner office. Cameron, I heard you left Hartley and Sons. News travels fast. It's a small industry. What happened? Family politics. My brother's taking over. We have different visions. He leaned back. Dylan, right? Met him once. Talked a lot about disruption and paradigm shifts. I tuned out after 5 minutes. I smiled. That's Dylan. So, what are you doing now? Starting my own company. Bishop Construction. Same quality work, same attention to detail, better communication because I'm running it, not managing someone else's mess. You looking for clients? I'm looking to work with people I trust. You're at the top of that list. He nodded slowly. We have 2 projects starting in the next 6 months. $800,000 combined. Both were slated for Hartley and Sons. Were. I was going to call your dad today. Cancel. But since you're here, want them? Absolutely. We shook hands. Send me a proposal. Same terms as before. We're good. Walking out of that building, I felt 10 pounds lighter. $800,000 in contracts. Day 3 of my new company. Second meeting. Thursday afternoon. Riverside Properties. I built their office complex 2 years ago. The owner, Janet Cole, was tougher. Cameron, I heard about the family drama. Everyone's hurt, apparently. Small industry, she said again. Everyone kept saying that. I have a question. Are you doing this to prove a point, or because you actually want to run a company? Fair question.
Both.
But mostly the second one. I've been running Hartley and Sons for years. This just makes it official. And Dylan has an MBA and 0 construction experience. That's what I thought. She pulled out a folder. We're breaking ground on a new development in May. $1.2 million project. Need someone who knows what they're doing, not someone who knows business buzzwords. I know what I'm doing. Prove it. Send me a detailed proposal by next week. If it's good, it's yours. Third meeting Friday morning didn't go as well. Summit Construction Management, a newer client. The project manager, Rick, was polite but firm. Look, Cameron, I like you, but we have a contract with Hartley and Sons. I can't just switch because you had a family squabble. It's not a squabble. I built those relationships, those systems. I'm the one who delivered your project 3 weeks early. I know, but legally we're bound to Hartley and Sons through June. After that, we can talk. Fair enough. Some you win, some you wait for. By the end of week 1, I had $800,000 in confirmed contracts, $1.2 million in pending proposals, 10 employees ready to jump ship, an LLC, insurance, and a business bank account. I also had exactly 1 piece of office space, Ashley's dining room table. Saturday, I went looking for real space. Found a small warehouse on the industrial side of town. 2,000 square feet, garage door and back for equipment, tiny office in front. The landlord, an older guy named Pete, showed me around. Previous tenant was an auto repair shop. Left it a mess, but it's structurally sound. It smelled like motor oil and regret, but it was $1,800 a month. I could afford that. I'll take it. Don't you want to think about it? Nope. When can I move in? Monday. If you've got first and last month's rent. I wrote the check on the spot. Monday morning, I opened the doors of Bishop Construction. It was just me and a folding table I bought at Walmart, but it was mine. Maria showed up at 9 a.m. Wow, this is rustic. It's temporary. We'll upgrade once cash flow stabilizes. I like it. Feels honest. She set down a box. Brought you a coffee maker. Can't run a business without caffeine. You're hired. I assumed. By Tuesday, I'd furnished the office with used desks from Craigslist and folding chairs from Home Depot. Not pretty, but functional. Big Mike and the crew started Wednesday. I'd rented equipment, a work truck, compressor, scaffold, using my personal credit, maxing out 3 cards, but we were operational. All right, I said at our first meeting. Here's how this works. We're small. We're scrappy. We don't have the resources Hartley and Sons has, but we have something better. What's that? Jose asked. We give a damn. Every project is our reputation. Every client is our future. We do this right, we'll be bigger than Hartley and Sons within 2 years. And if we don't, Tommy asked, then we all find new jobs. But I don't plan on that happening. Big Mike grinned. Let's build something. Meanwhile, across town, Hartley and Sons was falling apart. I heard about it through Maria, who still had friends there. Dylan's losing his mind, she told me over coffee Friday morning. 10 people quit in 1 week. Projects are stalled. Clients are calling asking where you are. What's he telling them? That you had a personal crisis and they're handling everything. And the clients are not buying it. 3 of them have already called asking for contract cancellations. Which 3? She showed me her phone. Notes from her friends still at Hartley and Sons, Henderson Development, Riverside Properties, 2 others I'd worked with. They're all asking for you, Maria said. I felt a grim satisfaction. Good. You really want to see them fail? I want them to understand what I built, what they threw away. That's fair. By the end of week 3, Bishop Construction had its first project started, the Henderson Strip Mall expansion. We had $2.1 million in signed contracts, hired 2 more people, and moved from a folding table startup to an actual small business. And Hartley and Sons?
Dylan called me.
I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Cameron, we need to talk. Things are difficult without you. Maybe we can work something out. Call me back. I deleted it. He called again the next day and the day after. Finally, I answered. What? Cameron, thank God. Listen, I know things got heated, but I'm busy, Dylan. What do you want? We're having some transitional difficulties. Several employees left. Some clients are asking questions, and I was hoping you could help. Maybe come back. We can discuss terms.
No. Just like that.
You wanted to run the company. Run it. Cameron, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. You got what you wanted. CEO title. The company. Good luck. I hung up. He texted 30 seconds later. You're being childish. I blocked his number. That evening, Ashley and I celebrated at a dive bar near my warehouse. To week 3, she said, raising her beer. To week 3. How does it feel? Terrifying. Exciting, right? They're going to keep calling. Let them. What if they offer you partnership? Real ownership. I thought about it. I don't want partnership. I want this. Something I built. Something they can't take away. She smiled. Good answer. Besides, it's too late. They burned the bridge. I'm just making sure it stays burned. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. It buzzed again. Same number. Then a 3rd time. Maybe it's important, Ashley said. I answered. Hello, Cameron Hartley. A woman's voice. Professional.
Yes.
This is Jennifer Kim from Summit Construction Management. We met last week. I remember. You said you couldn't switch contracts until June. That's actually why I'm calling. We just received notification that Hartley and Sons is requesting a 6-month extension on our current project. 6 months? The project's due in 3.
Exactly.
Which violates our contract. We're terminating effective immediately. And we'd like to discuss transferring the project to Bishop Construction if you're available. I'm available. Excellent. Can you come by Monday? We'll need a detailed transition plan, but the project's yours if you want it. After I hung up, Ashley stared at me. What just happened? Hartley and Sons is falling apart faster than I thought. Is that good for us?
Yeah.
For them? I smiled. They're about to learn what 15 years of relationship building was actually worth. And I wasn't even close to done. 3 months after I left, Hartley and Sons lost their biggest client. I found out from Mark Henderson over lunch. Your dad called me yesterday, he said, picking at his salad, begging me to reconsider. Reconsider what? Canceling our remaining contracts. All of them. I set down my fork. All of them. Yeah, we had 2 projects with them scheduled for later this year. I pulled both.
Why?
Because Dylan missed 3 deadlines, went over budget on the one project they're still working on, and when I called to complain, he blamed it on supply chain issues and worker shortages. Mark made air quotes. Meanwhile, you've delivered everything on time and under budget. We try. You do more than try. You're reliable. They're not. Simple as that. By month 4, Bishop Construction had 17 employees and $3.2 million in active contracts. We'd moved to a bigger warehouse. Ashley had desks that matched, a conference room with real chairs. Ashley had quit her marketing job to run operations full-time. She was brilliant at it, organizing chaos into systems, clients into relationships, my scattered ideas into actual business plans. "We need to talk about hiring," she said one morning, coffee in hand, looking at spreadsheets. "What about it? We're at capacity. Can't take new projects without more people. So we hire more people." "With what money? We're cash flow positive, but not rolling in it. Henderson's paying the first draw next week. $180,000. That buys us 3 more guys and equipment." She nodded. "Okay, but carefully. We grow too fast, we collapse." "Agreed. Slow and steady." "Since when are you slow and steady?" "Since I'm spending my own money." Meanwhile, Hartley and Sons was hemorrhaging. Maria's friend, still working there out of loyalty to my parents, sent regular updates. Month 2, Dylan hired a business consultant, paying him $15,000 a month. Consultant's advice? Pivot to luxury residential. Nobody wants to build luxury homes. Month 3, lost another client. Dylan's blaming the crew. Crew's blaming Dylan. "Your dad looks like he aged 10 years. Month 4, payroll was late again. People are updating their resumes. I should have felt bad. Should have felt guilty watching my parents' company crumble. I didn't. They'd made their choice. This was the consequence. Month 5, Dylan showed up at my warehouse. I was in the office going over a proposal when Maria knocked. Your brother's here. Tell him I'm busy." I did. He says he'll wait." I sighed, walked out to the lobby. Dylan stood there in jeans and a wrinkled button-down. No suit, hair messy, dark circles under his eyes. He looked tired, defeated. "Cameron, thanks for seeing me." "You're not supposed to be here, Dylan. I'm working." "I know. Can we talk?" 5 minutes. Against my better judgment. "Fine, 5 minutes." We went to the tiny break room, folding chairs and a coffee maker. Dylan sat down heavily. "The company's in trouble." "I heard." "You heard?"
"Small
industry. People talk." He rubbed his face. "We're losing clients. Employees are quitting. Projects are stalled. Dad's freaking out. And I need help." "You need help?"
Yeah.
I screwed up. I thought I could do this, but I can't. Not without you." I leaned against the counter, crossed my arms. "You thought you could waltz in, take over a company you knew nothing about, and it would just work?" "I had ideas. Strategies. You had buzzwords. There's a difference." "I know that now. Little late, don't you think?" He looked up at me. "What do you want me to say?"
I'm sorry.
"I'm sorry I was wrong. You were right. Happy. Not particularly." "Then what? What can I do to fix this?" "Nothing. You can't fix it. It's done. It's my family's company. Our parents built it."
No.
"Dad and I built it. You inherited it, then broke it. So, you're just going to let it die?" I thought about that.
Yeah.
Probably. That's cold. That's business. You wanted to play CEO. This is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. So what? You're just going to compete with us until we're gone. I'm not competing with you. I'm running my company. You're failing at yours. Those are separate things. He stood up, his face contorted. "You know what? Screw you. I tried to apologize. I tried to fix this. You tried to get me to bail you out. Different thing. You're really going to watch Dad lose everything? Dad made a choice. He picked you. He can live with it." Dylan stared at me for a long moment, then left. Maria appeared in the doorway. That looked intense. He wanted me to save them, and I declined.
Good.
Month 6, I got a call from my mother. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Cameron," her voice was tight. "We need to talk about the company. About what you're doing." "What I'm doing?" "I'm running a business." "You're stealing our clients." "I'm not stealing anyone. They're choosing to work with me because I deliver quality work. That's how business works. You're destroying us. Deliberately. I'm competing. If you can't compete, that's not my problem. We're your family. You made it very clear that family comes second to Dylan. Silence. Then, he's struggling, Cameron. Really struggling. I know. Doesn't that bother you? Should it? He wanted this. He got it. He made a mistake. So did you and Dad. You gave a company to someone who didn't earn it, who didn't know how to run it. That's on you. We're going bankrupt. Her voice cracked. Do you understand? We're losing everything. The company, the house, everything. I felt something twist in my chest, a dull ache, but I pushed it down. Then you'll have to start over. Like I did. We're in our 60s. I was 34 with $180,000 and a dream. You've got experience. You'll figure it out. How can you be so heartless? I'm not heartless. I'm done being the safety net for people who didn't value me. She hung up. I sat there for a long time, staring at my phone. Ashley found me. You okay? Mom called. They're going bankrupt. How do you feel? Honestly, I don't know. Part of me feels vindicated. Part of me feels like garbage. That's fair. They're still your parents.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Nothing. There's nothing to do. You could help them. I looked at her. Do you think I should? I think you should do whatever lets you sleep at night. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about my dad, building the company with him. The early days, just us figuring things out. My mom, who used to pack my lunch, who'd been proud of me once. And how they'd thrown all of that away for Dylan. Around 2 a.m., I made a decision. Next morning, I called my parents. Meet me for coffee. Neutral ground. 1 hour. They showed up looking like they'd aged a decade. Dad's hair was completely gray. Mom had lost weight. We sat in a booth at a diner, ordered coffee. Nobody drank. Thanks for meeting, Dad said, his voice flat. I wasn't sure you would. I wasn't sure I would either. Cameron, we know we made mistakes. Let me talk first. I pulled out a folder. I looked at your financials. Dylan gave me access last week when he was begging for help. You looked at our books? Mom asked, shocked.
Yeah.
You're $680,000 in debt. Revenue's down 75%. You've got 3 active projects and no new contracts lined up. Dad's jaw clenched. We know. The company's worth nothing. Name's worthless. Reputation's shot. You can't sell it. I can't salvage it. Best option is bankruptcy. We know that too, he said quietly. But you mortgaged the house to keep it running. Mom's eyes filled with tears. We thought we could turn it around. You can't. Dylan burned every bridge I built. It's over. So why are we here? Dad asked, his voice laced with bitterness. To hear you gloat?
No.
I'm here to make you an offer. They both looked up. I slid the folder across the table. I'll pay $50,000 for the Hartley and Sons name and remaining assets. Equipment, client list, whatever's left. $50,000? Dad's voice rose, incredulous. That company's worth nothing. It's worth nothing. I'm being generous. We built that company for 20 years. And Dylan destroyed it in 6 months. $50,000 is more than you'll get in bankruptcy court. Mom looked at the folder, then at me. What would you do with it? Absorb it into Bishop Construction. Probably rename to Bishop Hartley. Keep the family name alive, technically. Why would you do that? Dad asked, looking utterly bewildered. Because despite everything, you're still my parents. And I don't want you completely destitute. But the debt. Not my problem. You file bankruptcy, wipe it clean, then you start over. We'll lose the house. Yeah, you will. That's the consequence of mortgaging it for Dylan's mistakes. Dad looked broken. I don't know what to say. Say yes or no. You've got 48 hours. I stood up, left them sitting there. Ashley was waiting in the car. How'd it go? I offered them 50 grand. They think I'm being cruel. Are you? Probably. But it's fair. More than fair, actually. And if they say no, then they get nothing and file bankruptcy anyway. She nodded. You're really done with them. I'm done being taken advantage of. If they want help, it's on my terms. 2 days later, Dad called. We'll take the offer. But Cameron, can we ask something? What? Would you hire me? Not management, just crew work. I need a job. We need income. I hadn't expected that. You want to work for me? I know it's asking a lot, but I know construction. I'm not useless. I can frame, do electrical, whatever you need. What about Mom? She's looking at office jobs. But me? This is all I know. I thought about it. About my dad, who taught me everything I knew about building, who'd been my partner before he'd been my betrayer. I'll put you on the crew. Same pay as everyone else. No special treatment. And Dad, you work for Big Mike, not me. He's foreman. What he says goes. Understood. One more thing.
What?
Dylan's not welcome. Not at Bishop Hartley. Not at job sites. Not anywhere near my company. A long pause. I'll tell him. Good. Start Monday. After I hung up, I felt strange. Not victorious. Not angry, just tired. You hired your dad? Ashley asked. That's big of you. Or stupid. Time will tell. What about your mom? She's on her own. I'm not running a charity. Fair enough. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. This is Dylan. I heard about the deal. 50 grand. Really? You're screwing them over? I replied. They're getting more than you left them with. You're a terrible brother. You're a terrible CEO. We're even.
He didn't respond.
And honestly, I didn't care. I'd won. Not because I destroyed them, but because I built something they couldn't touch. Something that was entirely, completely mine. 6 months after buying Hartley & Sons for $50,000, I stood in front of a new sign. Bishop Hartley Construction. My name first always. The crew gathered for a photo. 23 employees now. Dad stood in the back, hard hat on, work boots worn in. He'd been working for me for 4 months. Showed up on time. Did what Big Mike told him. Never complained. It was strange at first, giving orders to my father, but he took it without argument. Maybe because he finally understood what I'd been doing all those years. Or maybe because he had no choice. All right, back to work. Big Mike called out. Henderson project needs framing by Friday. Everyone dispersed. Dad lingered. Cameron, got a minute? We walked to the side. He took off his hard hat. The sign looks good. It's just business. Name recognition. Still means something to me. I didn't know what to say to that. How's Mom? Working reception at a medical office. She likes it. Less stressful. He paused. We're in a 2-bedroom apartment now. Nothing fancy. You filed bankruptcy last month. Clean slate. He looked at me. I need to say this. I'm sorry for choosing Dylan. For not seeing what you built. For taking you for granted. Okay. That's it. What do you want? You broke something, Dad. It takes time to fix.
He nodded.
Fair enough. And Dylan's never working here. Ever. I know. He's in Arizona selling solar panels. Calls your mother sometimes. Dad put his hard hat back on. I should get back. Dad. Yeah. You're doing good work. The crew respects you. His eyes got wet. Thanks, son. He walked away before I could see him cry. That evening, Ashley and I had dinner at our new house. We'd bought it 3 months ago. Small, but nice. Paid 20% down in cash. How is work? She asked.
Good.
Henderson project's ahead of schedule. That's the 3rd one this month. Yeah, we're at $6 million annual revenue now. Double what Hartley & Sons did before Dylan. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hey, it's Dylan.
Can we talk?
I showed Ashley. Do you want to talk to him? Not really. Then don't. I deleted the message. 2 weeks later, Dylan showed up at the warehouse. Maria intercepted him. He's not here. His truck's outside. He's not available. I watched from my office window. Dylan's standing there, hands in pockets, looking lost.
Part of me felt bad.
A small part. A bigger part remembered Thanksgiving. Remembered, that's why you're operations, not strategy. He left after 10 minutes. That night, he texted again. I know you don't want to see me, but I need you to know I'm sorry for everything. You were right. I wasn't ready. I screwed up. I've been in therapy, working on myself, trying to understand why I thought I deserved something I didn't earn. I was jealous of you, of how Dad respected you. I thought if I could take what was yours, I'd finally measure up. But I didn't. I failed. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just asking you to know. I see it now. What you built. What I destroyed. And I'm sorry. You deserved better than me.
Dylan.
I read it twice. Put it in a drawer.
Didn't respond.
But I kept it. Because maybe someday. But not today. 3 months later, Dad asked if I'd come for dinner. Just him and Mom. Dylan invited?
I asked. No.
Just us. I went. Their apartment was small, generic furniture, nothing like the house they'd lost. Mom cooked lasagna. We made small talk until Mom said, Dylan's engaged. Moving to Phoenix. He wants you at the wedding. I'm not going. Cameron, he destroyed your company. Cost you your house. And you want me at his wedding? Dad put his hand on Mom's arm. Let it go, Diane. After dinner, Dad walked me to my truck. Thanks for coming. Thanks for inviting me. Think you'll come again? Maybe. But this doesn't fix everything. You know that, right? I do. Just trying to rebuild what I can. That's fair. He extended his hand. I shook it. You built something incredible, he said. Better than what we had. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad. Driving home, I felt something loosen in my chest. Not forgiveness, but maybe the start of something. 1 year after starting Bishop Hartley Construction, we landed our biggest project, a $4.5 million downtown development. Ashley and I celebrated with champagne in our backyard.
You did it, she said.
We did it. My phone buzzed. Text from Dad. Heard about downtown project. Congratulations. You earned it, I replied. Thanks. Couldn't have done it without the foundation you taught me. It was true.
Dad
taught me everything about construction, the technical skills, the work ethic. He'd also taught me what not to do, how not to treat people. Both lessons had value. He replied, Proud of you, son. 3 words, simple, but they meant something. 6 months later, Dylan sent a letter, handwritten. Cameron, I don't expect you to respond, but I need you to know I understand what I did. I destroyed something you built. I hurt everyone. I've been in therapy, working on myself, trying to understand why I thought I deserved something I didn't earn. I was jealous of you, of how Dad respected you. I thought if I could take what was yours, I'd finally measure up. But I didn't. I failed. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just asking you to know. I see it now. What you built. What I destroyed.
And I'm sorry.
You deserved better than me. Dylan. I read it twice. Put it in a drawer.
Didn't respond.
But I kept it. Because maybe someday, but not today. 2 years after starting Bishop Hartley Construction, we hit $15 million in annual revenue, 50 employees, projects in 5 cities. Dad was crew foreman now, reliable, respected. Mom and I had dinner once a month, slowly rebuilding. Dylan and I hadn't spoken. Maybe we never would again. And I was okay with that because I'd learned something important. You don't owe people access to your life just because you share DNA. You don't owe forgiveness just because someone apologizes. You don't owe anyone anything except what you choose to give. And I chose to give my energy to building, not destroying, not dwelling, just building. One project at a time until I'd created something entirely, completely mine. And nobody, not Dylan, not my parents, not anyone could ever take that away. That was victory. That was peace. That was enough. So, what do you guys think? Was I too harsh? Did my parents and brother get what they deserved? Or was I just as cold-hearted as they accused me of being? Have you ever had to choose between family and your own self-respect like this? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts.